Hello, my name is Denton, and I'm a first year psychology student at a university in the Netherlands. And I welcome you to the first episode of the university series in this podcast, where I interview people that I meet in my university years to learn more about their experiences and views of the world we live in. My first guest in this series is Marija Bajčetić. Marija is one of the first friends I made when I came to this university. She is a Serbian first year psychology student who aspires to be a neurocognitive researcher in the future. In this discussion, we talked about the uncertainties of being a university student, the difficulties of being a non-European living in an European country, science and research, mainstream problems, the pursuit of happiness, and much more. I hope you're able to learn and enjoy this conversation as much as I did. And just to make you aware of it, this video has timestamps so you can skip to the parts you're most interested in and to the parts that you're curious about. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you, Marija Bajčetić. Okay, Marija, how has your uni experience been until now that you've been studying since September, so for 5 months, more or less? How has your experience been?
That's the good question. I'm gonna go back to you when I read a bit of literature. No, I'm just kidding. It interesting, interesting, definitely. Um, when I think about last couple of months, I think those have been for sure most interesting couple of months that I had in my whole life, and I really love them, even though it was kind of hard most of the time. And our uni, in particular, requires a lot of studying, a lot of hours of studying. So it is kind of hard. But the when I usually go to the library and then come back home, that's kind of when I'm the happiest. So I really enjoy it because I really study something that I love. So I think that's one important thing. And the second important thing is that I feel like uni experience, even though everybody before I came here are like, oh my god, you're gonna meet so many nice people, you're gonna discover so many new cultures, whatever. What I think was the most important part for me was learning more about myself. And I think right now I'm doing most of it. Even though I always thought of myself as someone who can spend time by myself, that I don't need other people that much, and that I just know what I like and what I want in my life. I feel like uni is really pushing all of your boundaries to the point where you actually have to really do a reflection on yourself and your thinking. And otherwise, you can either numb it out and then just don't pay attention to it at all and go out, drink, consume drugs, or you can just crash out and then leave uni. So I think what is in the between is kind of having having small mental breakdowns, but every time you have a mental breakdown, it kind of pushes you more to discover more about yourself. And what I didn't like about our uni in the beginning was that we are numbers. So you get a student ID, you get your number, and then professors see you as a number. And even though they said that they want our education to be best, etc., they they wouldn't care if one person would drop out. They wouldn't care about, they would still, if something happened, I think they would still be like, okay, you have exams tomorrow. So they would maybe let you skip one class maximum. And then I didn't like that in the beginning, but then I realized that maybe I shouldn't do all of the stuff in the way that I did before, especially in my home countries. In my home country, like, they usually know you, so they know your name, they know what you're doing, and you get job opportunities, you get more respect in the uni with your name, which is not the point. You shouldn't ask for them to know your name in order to give you more opportunities. You should earn them by your knowledge. And that thing kind of changed my perspective, but it took me some time to get there, to just see, okay, now I'm gaining some knowledge and then I can apply like everybody else. I don't need to go to the professor and ask 10 questions each time so they remember me. I don't need to do those stuff. They're gonna do an open contest at the end. If they have some position, I can apply for my CV, etc. And that kind of changed my perspective, but it was one of the hardest things for me to realize. And also how to live, what actually helps you in hard times, what you actually enjoy doing. And I think I still am kind of learning it, But most of the my uni experience, how I describe it, is even though I met many cool people that I really love now, it was the, currently the most important part of it was learning more about myself, I think.
Hmm.
So yes.
So yeah, uni really pushes your boundaries in many ways. And I say especially because of our uni, like you said, we're like numbers in a way, and they really treat us like machines, which is kind of crazy. But I bet that there are many different types of unis. Like, um, I bet there are some unis that they have very small classes of people, and then they just really go deep into knowing each person individually like that, and then they develop. But yeah, like our uni is very good uni, very good content and stuff, but still they treat us
So
very like numbers in a way.
yeah, but do you think that that prepares us for what we are gonna be in the future? Like when you go to a company, nobody's gonna be interested in learning more about you. Maybe because I was thinking, okay, I would prefer to be in the uni where they learn about me, but does that prepare me for the life I'm gonna live afterwards? I don't know, maybe this is not that bad, but maybe there are some jobs. I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud uh, about like I don't know if it's a good thing that our uni works like this or not. I don't know what you think about.
Mm, I don't know. I don't know, never thought about it that way. It's it's a cool perspective to be honest, because it does mimic some of the companies, let's say, because yeah, some of the companies you're just like a number. Those, especially those very big companies, you can just be a number in them, and then it doesn't really matter. But I don't know. There are many small companies too that you're gonna be paid attention. That I feel like nowadays, especially, there are many more like small companies. I mean, because we have AI and we're getting more technology all around, every time. So in the end, I've seen more and more smaller companies, especially. You probably don't watch the Game Awards, was like they have those video games and all, and
No, I
then
don't.
the game that won the game of the year this year was made by a company of like 35 people, if I'm not wrong. So it's crazy that they have been, the company size have been smaller, I think. And I don't know, while it makes sense, mm, I don't know, I still don't like it. I don't like that approach too much. That's why sometimes I look at companies and all that, and I don't really like the idea of working in a company that is very big.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, that is true. But I don't know, compare like what we are studying in our uni, maybe it's better. I don't know, maybe just from my point of view, because of academia. So there you get your ID, and then you have to publish that many papers that year. It doesn't matter if you did so many more. It only matters like which one did you publish, and then if you didn't publish that many, then you just use the resources for nothing, and then you have to teach all the time, and then still do a lot of papers, and then you have to do all of that, and you have to balance it out. And I think in that sense that you're a number, but maybe if if somebody wants to, from example, from our uni or from our major to go to therapy, maybe it doesn't make that much sense.
Oh, you're saying like we're more numbers if you're going to academia, right? Yeah,
Yes.
academia is tough. Academia is a
True.
tough world. Academia is a very tough world, especially because of the like crazy politics you have there, and oh,
Especially as non-European woman.
especially as
Just kidding.
non-Europeans, it's crazy. It's crazy. But yeah,
I'm becoming an European, Anton.
you're becoming an European. How?
Yes. How?
Yeah. Hmm?
Well, if one of my closest friends decided that he wants to marry me, that would be an easy step. But if he doesn't change his mind, then still I need to live here in Netherlands for after bachelor's degree for 2 more years. Then I get a permanent residence visa. Then after 1 year, I can apply for citizenship, and then I become a European. Or I can
Okay.
marry another European person, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure. But I
you
have to. I have to.
you know,
That's it.
but no, do you think like academia especially they're gonna take into consideration like stuff like that?
I didn't expect that, but we had psychologists in the wild interview,
Yeah.
and then the other group had an
That's
interview with.
just to give context, that's a project we did
Oh,
where we had
that's
to
a I'm
interview
sorry.
a psychologist. Yes.
Yes, I'm sorry. That was a project in the first month of the uni, and our job was to find someone that was doing something that we're interested in psychology. So one group asked a woman that was doing forensic psychology here in the Netherlands to have an interview with her, and by accident she was from Serbia, my home country, and she was talking how she's gonna go back to Serbia and open a first forensic lab there. And uh, during the interview, she mentioned a couple of times how it's so much harder for her here as a non-European Union person, um, because because of the job opportunities, because of different work rules that apply to you, because of different health insurance rules that apply to you, etc. And because European Union gives a lot of money to universities or to Netherlands, and then Netherlands government gives it to universities. It's in their interest to take more of their people. So I think it shouldn't, of course, but I think at the end of the day that it kind of makes a difference.
That's it's kind of crazy though. It's really crazy.
It's
How
so
just
crazy.
just because
But if you think about it, as European Union is one big country, okay? And then you have other people that come from other countries. Of course you're going to take one from your country if your country gives more money to it. It's kind of weird because it's not actually one country, but I guess it's because of money. It's just because of their resources.
yeah, but I don't know. I don't know. I just feel like Europe gives this those Europe for me gives very like international vibes, you know? Europe for me is very international place in general. So you're just limiting to Europeans. I find it kind of crazy, but I don't know. I'm also kind of biased because I'm not European, so I don't really know how it feels for Europeans
And you're
to.
going to be European Union before me.
I'm gonna be
Okay.
European. Yeah, true. But nah, it's kind of. I don't know. I still find it. I find it like if you're doing research, if you're contributing positively, if you're doing something, a research that makes sense, if you're publishing a good paper, that's what matters, you know. But yeah, regarding fundings, you can never know. Also, you can never know if it's gonna be
I
a
think
good or
it's
bad paper.
really tough. But that's okay. That's my problem because I feel like I know what I want to do. I feel like I'm like when I'm studying, for example, one of our subjects, brain and cognition, which I would like to be my specialization. I feel like I'm the happiest. And then sometimes I think maybe I just convince myself that I'm the happiest when I'm doing it. But then I try other stuff and I don't feel that pure happiness that I feel when I'm learning about brain and cognition. But then I feel like because of academia, I have to sacrifice many stuff. Or I have to study more. I have to go do the lab next year. I have to specialize in one of the hardest specializations. I have to, after that, do master's, PhD, whatever. It's a lot of sacrificing. And I feel like it's a lot of sacrificing for something that is not promised. I know that it's like that all the time in life, but it's not about just that it's not promised that I'm gonna get a job. It's not promised that I'm gonna actually enjoy living that lifestyle. Because I feel like it's kind of a big secret. Like we know what is going on, but we don't really know what is going on until you get into it. And then I'm scared sometimes that I want to do it, but I want to do the idea that I have in my head. And then I'm willing to sacrifice for it. But what if at the end it's not just like, okay, I'm gonna have to do more research. That's fine. I'm gonna study more. I'm gonna do more research. But what if it's just something that I sacrifice for pleasure and happiness that is not promised to me in future? What if that really what is really going to happen I won't like it. That's something that kind of scares me, and I don't like that part of academia because I feel like our professors don't talk about it, and they're all trying to promote open science, which is uh, publishing papers that don't support their hypothesis. The results don't support their hypothesis. But I don't know, because magazines they need money, and then they get money from citing the people that cite them, and they cite them if they can use it for another research, and then nobody's gonna cite it if it's not a good research, we say, but something that can help you make your hypothesis better. Because when we don't prove hypothesis, you basically say, okay, we cannot know this for sure. It might be a fact, it might not be a fact. So it doesn't give you enough of information to say something about your hypothesis in the future research. So then paper, like magazine doesn't get money from that paper. And then it's so tough to make open science real. And I feel like it's kind of utopian, and I don't know, it just something that uh, freaks me out when I think about my future, because I really enjoy it, but I feel like sometimes I need to think about the lifestyle that that provides, and not just the work that I would do. So yeah, that's kind of dilemma at this point of my life.
It's 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 very tricky, right? Because in one hand, you might want to criticize the journals for not for having this kind of mindset, but they need money, they need money, and I guess they have to keep up with kind of like their reputations, right? Because you have the biggest journals. What are the biggest journals like in psychology?
Nature.
Science, Nature. Yeah, like those journals, they have a reputation of being good. So if they just go and publish a bad study, then it's just they kind of lose their reputation all the time if they do publish bad studies. So
But if it's a bad study, I don't know, because the thing is, how I look at it is that it's not a bad study, because what happened at one point, was that, okay, during the Cold War science was progressing, but the thing is that, eastern part, for example Russia, it had many scientists that were working on many stuff, and then the western part had it too, and they were doing the same stuff at the same time. Basically, someone would do something first, and then a couple of years later the other, but it was basically the same when you count it all. And then they were just using many resources and many years for something that they could have done it much faster, and we could progress much faster. And the thing is that they didn't know they were doing the same stuff because the communication was bad. And then I feel like when we don't publish some research that don't support their hypothesis, they cannot reject the null hypothesis. I feel like it's doing the same thing, because basically you're not giving information to people that are doing your research. And then someone might think, okay, oh, what if I change this thing in my stimuli, in my task that I'm giving to my participants? Maybe it might change something. But then you can see if it's published that it didn't work. So maybe we need a new one. And then people might do it a couple of times and then just lose resources and lose time without point. So I think it should work, because I don't think, especially when you talk about psychology in particular, because I'm not sure about some natural sciences, but psychology in particular, I think that it should matter. But I get why they're not doing it. But I just think it's still the mistake. So we cannot call them bad research. Yeah.
I agree. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. But mm, it's it's difficult. It's a difficult dilemma because obviously you can have bad research. Like if you can analyze your research and see that the methodology is bad, and then it just created bad results, then okay, makes sense. But yeah, I wouldn't say I don't agree with what they do. That they focus on always uh, seeing if they get the new hypothesis rejected or not. I don't like that because, like you said, not rejecting the null hypothesis sometimes is good, because if you see that actually that's not rejected, that this belief is very good on that thing, it's good. I would say it's good. That's good research because you're just showing. It's kind of like replication, but you're just giving more evidence, and then for me that makes sense, and that's good research. But like if you get a field, for example, of note taking, let's say note taking, and then you do a research, no, just studying for exams, let's say studying for exams, and then you compare
Okay.
people that study watching videos and people that study reading the book. If you look at literature, there are many things that talk about that, but sometimes it's kind of like vague. It's kind of like, yeah, this helps more, but this also useful. So then you kind of don't know. But if they do a study and they have the null hypothesis that reading is better, and then it shows that like actually reading is better, and the null hypothesis is not rejected, then that's good. Then I'll say that's good
You
research
know what
because
is the problem, Danton?
mm,
When we talk about statistics, um, when we reject null hypothesis if p is smaller than 0.05 in regular statistics,
mhm.
not Bayesian statistics.
No, less than 0.05.
What?
Less than 0.05.
Yeah, it's less than zero. We reject
Mm-hmm.
null hypothesis. And then the thing is that we can never prove, like, okay, we cannot prove that null hypothesis is then true. That's the thing. Like, we cannot prove that there is no difference because then the results are random. It looks like that based on statistics. Because uh, and I think that's a problem because we always go through proving our hypothesis, and then if it's not proved, then it doesn't matter, then it's not, and then we never prove that there is no effect. That is my point. So I think, but I get it that it's because of statistics, but I think that there are many layers that all come to that those papers are not published.
Just a lot of politics. It's a lot of politics. A lot of
And
politics.
switching to Bayesian statistics.
Yeah, just about Asian. It's just fine. It's like there's a podcast. He's called, you might know him. It's called Andrew Huberman. Do you know him?
Mhm.
Yeah. So yeah, he like used to do research and stuff, and he kind of quit research for to start doing podcasting because he said it's just it's like full of politics inside it. It's not only about the study you do, it's not about the content you provide, it's a lot about the politics. And if you can have like probably the good connections and whatever. And I don't know. I guess when it strays away from I personally don't like politics because I guess it's very fake in a way, you know?
What
Politics,
do you mean politics?
because you gotta always have, it's not about only the content. I don't know because I didn't go deep into like knowing what are the politics problem in that, but I feel like there's a point, if you get to a point where you're kind of sacrificing a bit of actual truth, you're sacrificing truth for getting your study published. Maybe like, oh, you're telling you through connections you're getting that guy to let you publish your study, somehow you bribe him or whatever, like anything that's kind of not related to truth. When you get to that point, I guess that's what I don't like about politics. Also, when there are like elections for presidents, many candidates lie, and that's the part about politics I don't like. It's very strategy like, very strategized, and you have to know how to persuade people in a way to get your things. And while I guess that's part of life a bit, I like truth, I like when people are themselves, when they show passion about what they're doing. I feel like that's very cool. And politics, when politics are involved, that just messes up. Just like companies. If you look at small companies, they're very creative. That's why I think that game won the game of the year, because small companies, they end up being so creative because they just prioritize the actual ideas and the creation instead of prioritizing this politics of, oh, I should do what the boss is telling me to do so he gives me a promotion. When it gets to this point, I guess the creativity goes away, because then you're just living based on those systems of trying to climb up the ladders, whatever. And yeah, that's what I don't like about big companies. About whenever politics is involved, creativity is missed and
I think we can talk
individuality.
about the mainstream songs nowadays as well, because
Oh
they're
yeah.
all involved in politics, and then you can see basically creativity going away because you know that something is going to give you profit, and I cannot blame those people for wanting to make profit. Of course, they want, like, everybody wants to earn money. That's the thing. But did you watch Bohemian Rhapsody movie about the
The
Queen?
movie? No, never watched it.
Okay, when they're talking about how uh, Bohemian Rhapsody is a song of 6 minutes,
Mhm.
and then they didn't wanna their producer didn't wanna put it on an album and make it single because everything on radio was maximum 3 minutes, and that was known. And then if it doesn't go to radio, it's not gonna be popular, and then they're not gonna make enough money. Even though the song was pretty good, they didn't want to do it, and then they quit their producer in order to get the Bohemian Rhapsody single. And because they were already popular at that time, somebody other like took them, and that was their. And then they posted on radio by themselves, and it changed everything. And that's the thing, because they wouldn't. And then if people just want to stay in their comfort zone and uh, and just produce music that is known that's gonna be popular. And if you look at the main pop girlies that I listen to, they're all really really similar. Like every Sabrina Carpenter album is super similar. Taylor Swift, okay, that's kind of different. She's kind of different. She's my favorite woman in the world, but
Okay.
uh, but it is all, they're all like schemes that they try to fit in. And then I think it's the same way for academia, and I think it's the same way for everything because of the profit. And in the big companies, for example, for games as well. So but I think that's the overall problem of our world. But I cannot blame those people for wanting to have more money. I think that's really normal thing to do. So yeah, it's kind of like moral dilemma.
Yeah, when it comes down to money, I was listening to a podcast today.
Hmm.
Um, it was the podcast is called The Diary of the CEO, and that's the second biggest podcast also. And it's featuring Chris Williamson, the guest, and he's also another podcaster. And he was telling about it's not paradigm, it's like a parable. It's like a story, And this story is about a fisherman. So the fisherman, every day, that's like a Mexican fisherman parable, yeah. So this fisherman, he every day he wakes up and goes to the lake so he can fish with his boat. So he goes
Okay.
there, fishes, grabs some fish, brings it back to his family, and then they just like chill for the rest of the day. They eat the fish and spend time together, living. And he lives like completely countryside, and that's his life. And then an American comes and talks to him and says like, "Yo, why don't you try fishing more so you can, you start selling your fish so you can end up and then you can buy more boats." And then the fisherman said, "Why would I do that?" And then the American guy said, "Well, you can buy more boats, then you can also hire some of your friends to fish, then you're gonna have more fish to sell, and then you're gonna raise more money with that." And then the Mexican guy, the fisherman, said, "Why would I do that?" And then Megan said, "Well, then you can expand and sell to different parts of the US, and then you're gonna increase your profit even more." And then the fisherman said, "Why would I do that?" And then the American guy said, "So then you can make the how do you call like those fishes when you have like this that you open like canned fish? Yes, you can
Tuna.
like no just canned
Okay.
fish in general. So then you can put your fishes in cans, then export to Europe, export to other continents, and then you're just gonna grow a multi-billionaire company." And then the fisherman said, "Why would I do that?" And then the last thing the American said was, "Oh well, so if you have this, in the end, you're gonna be able to retire so you can fish in the mornings and then spend the rest of your day with your family." And that's the thing, That's what I feel like those when this kind of society that we're promoting nowadays is kind of crazy, that we're always promoting this money and I d- always prioritizing that future life, retirement, and getting money instead of actually focusing on just individuality between people. And not individuality, but like creativity in general. That's why I love this example of that freaking company that won the game of the year with such a small team, because that's amazing. And one of my favorite games that was released this year is called Hollow Knight Silksong. This game, the company is called Team Cherry. They have 3 people. They made their first game was released in 2016, and they were only 3 guys. They created this game. The guy posted literally on Reddit. He posted on Reddit, guys, I'm making a game. If you Here's the trailer. If you want, you can donate to me, so it helps the production. They raised money and they became crazy, and they could have invested more and gotten like a large team of people to make this the next game, and they didn't. They kept the same 3 people team, released the game, and it's one of the best games also ever made. So it's crazy. And then you see all those big companies that are in the game industry. I love talking about the game industry because it's crazy good example.
Yeah, you
You
found
see
the perfect person to talk to about the gaming
game
industry.
industry, the perfect first. But no, it just like has all those examples of the big companies that have all those crazy amount of of people that work there. They're just creating bad games that they're always, those games are always like, right now they usually cost like 80 euros one game, which is crazy for the quality. And then while those games that have those companies of 3 people, that the Silk Song costs, I don't even know, like 11, 12 euros, and it's a masterpiece. So that's what I one thing I think that has to be more emphasized in our society. This more expression, love for the thing, not only politics and climbing and just getting publishing or research in a good journal. That's what I feel like is missing a lot.
Yes, but how do you control it? Because of course you're like, for example, I'm a researcher. Of course, I'm gonna want to be published. Of course, it's really hard not to want to have more money, you know. But I think it's a problem when you, I don't know, when is the point when you're like, okay, I have enough. Like, uh, I don't think that people get it. Even billionaires, of course, they want to produce more. You know, they want to make more, and it's always like that. But i don't know how do I don't know how do you control that, because for example, when you were talking about this story, I don't I feel like that, I don't know if it's like influence of the culture where we live in, probably yes, like brainwashed, etc. But I was like, okay, but how is this enough for that guy? How is it enough that he just like goes fishing in the morning and then stays with his family? I'm like, okay, but how is that enough for him? But why, and then, because I've been thinking about it a lot lately, why did I move here? Why, when I went back home for Christmas break, I was like, okay, I could have a perfectly nice like life here. I would, like, back home. I was like, okay, because what is the ultimate goal in life? To be happy. Okay, we can agree on that. And then, uh, what brings you happiness? Okay, one part of the work and getting some work milestones, of course, brings you happiness, but you have to hustle through the whole thing. Okay, but then other, I think being surrounded with people that you love, for example, etc., that brings you a lot of happiness, at least for me, and it means to me a lot. And then, I was thinking, okay, but why did I sacrifice being surrounded by those people? Okay, I will meet nice people here, for example, in Amsterdam, and then what? I move again, and then I meet nice people there, and then I move, so I get a better job position, so I get a better, okay, and then I do all of that for what? Like, what is the end point of doing all of that? Because if it's to be happy, I'm really happy when I go back home for what, 3 days. I'm really happy when I hang out with you and our other friends here, and then that's like one afternoon, and then we're like, okay, now studying for 7 days and not seeing sunlight. And then i'm I'm like, okay, but it's fine to do all of those stuff, it's for the future. And then in the future, you're like, okay, okay, I'm doing this for a better job, I'm doing that for a better position. And I was like, okay, maybe I won't be like that. But then I stopped and think how last year at this time of the year, I was I was applying for this uni, and I was doing all of the stuff. I was doing extracurriculars. I was studying for the exam. I was doing all of this stuff, and I was like, okay, but it's to get into this uni. And when I get in, I'm gonna be happy. And I was happy when I got in for what 2 days. And then when I moved here, I was happy in the beginning, but it's the beginning. It's always nice in the beginning. And then now I'm not enjoying what I was working so hard for. And it's just a constant circle of all of those stuff. And I don't know how to stop that. I don't know. Uh, and then, of course, you want to get a better position. But I think I need to actively think about, okay, but why is this not enough, for example, or why am I not happy? Okay. And I need to kind of externalize and see what I have around myself. I feel like sometimes that's because I'm kind of person that looks a lot into myself, and then I'm like, okay, what I'm feeling right now. And then I'm not open to what I'm experiencing right now. And then I feel like combination of all of those stuff and makes me think that, oh, how can this guy be happy with just fishing in the morning and and work and just spending time with the family? When I thought about it, I was like, okay, yeah, that's like retirement dream, like just doing something you like and then enjoy. But why does it have to be just retirement when you can enjoy your life? Like, I don't know, we're so brainwashed
Where
into thinking the way that industry wants us to think. That's crazy, because I think of myself as someone who has critical thinking, and then I do the same thing. It's insane. Like, yeah, that's I love your story. Yeah.
it's nice. It's sad. It's sad that we all have this grind mindset culture. We can't really know how it was before, how people thought, but I guess it wasn't that different too. But maybe like I don't know, in the first century, and I don't know,
But they
when
had to
life
work
was simple.
to live.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they had to work to live,
And
and that's
do you think don't you think that's would probably make us happier?
that's a good question.
Because
That's a good question.
we just I feel like we just have this obsession because everyone can live nowadays, kind of. Not every, like, have the basic needs, food, shelter, and all this.
Yes.
Everyone can have that. So you, by having this, and you see people achieving more than that, and then you think, oh my god, if I'm not doing anything, that's wrong.
Yeah.
But like
But
back
but
then, mm,
don't you think that part of our happiness comes from wanting to achieve something? Like having goals.
yes, I do think now. I'm not sure. I feel like if you achieve goals, actually, the achieving goal itself, you get like this spike in dopamine, whatever. But you get the most joy, I think, from the process. From the process of trying to achieve a goal. That's how you get most joy out of things. Because, like you said, you work towards the uni, and then you always had this hope that things will get better when you get in the uni. And then you got the uni, you had this crazy spike in dopamine that you got happy, and then you just you see like, okay, that's my life now, and it gets back to normal. And then now you're looking into, oh, when am I gonna graduate from uni? And I feel like that's why in the end we always see the remember the past with more joy than it actually was, and we think of the future with more anxiety, because we tend to think usually like things are gonna get better, but then you think about your situation and you're like, but why didn't it get better before already? And and then you think about the past, and you think like, oh yeah, I was happy back then. I was kind of I'm probably was happy back then. So that's why I don't know, goals can be very useful, because without goals I feel like we're kind of you kind of have to think a lot. Not have to think a lot, but if you have a lot of free time, what most people end up doing nowadays is that they don't have goals. not, like some people our age, they don't have goals, and then they just play video games all day, or they just smoke, and then they drink. They just numb all those things. But if you don't have goals and then you don't do those things, then I guess you have a lot of time to think. And then from that, I think goals emerge. So it's I don't know, it's a cycle. I don't know. I really don't know. I
Yeah,
really don't
but
know.
don't you think now when I think about it that having goals is escaping as well. Like having goals is kind of running away from your current situation, which is kind of weird, but it is the constant like, okay, I have to keep on track, like I have to keep doing this, I have to keep running, I have to do, you know, in order to get somewhere. And then you don't think how it feels, you know, to be running at a point. You just think, okay, okay, when I get there. And then I feel like even we want to think of ourselves as someone they're not numbing out stuff that we feel right now. I feel like goals are doing that maybe at the same time, because you're still trying to escape what you have now, and you're hoping for a better future when you achieve that goal. And at least it's healthy obsession. At least it's helping you get your life together, you know. But um I don't know, it just I I now when you were talking about it, I feel like goals are also, because when I have goals, I don't think about what I'm doing right now. I don't think about, okay, I'm gonna live like better life at that point. I'm gonna enjoy life at that point. And then I'm also, instead of making my life right now, well, you know,
What do you mean?
because okay, for example, if I have now goal to, I don't know, uh, I don't know, do really well, really good program, master's program, okay? And then
Okay.
right now, I'm like in this uni, and I'm like, okay, now I have to do this. I have to get good grades. I have to study a lot. I have to do volunteer job in the lab. I have to make my CV look better, etc. Okay. And then I feel like I'm living right now, but I'm actually not. I'm living in what it will feel like when I achieve that goal. And then, even though I'm doing all of those stuff right now, I know that I'm doing them, but I'm not actually enjoying them. I am enjoying what I think I'm gonna feel in the future.
Mhm.
And I, at least I feel that way. Maybe it's just me. And then I feel like it's escaping reality as well, because you're not facing what you feel right now. You're not feel you because you're not, for example, we're studying, and then you're not like, okay, I'm really tired, this is really tiring me, I'm gonna burn out or whatever. You're not thinking that. You're thinking, okay, but this will pay off when I get a good grade, because the good grade is a goal. And then I think it's kind of a coping mechanism as well, having goals. But it's kind of like double-sided. I'm not sure, but that just
So
came.
it's not that the act of pursuing the goal itself that is bringing you that peace and happiness. It's the fact that you're pursuing the goal. It's not what
Yes.
you're pursuing, not what you're doing to pursue the goal. So it's not like it's not because usually people say, oh, it's not about the final destination, it's the journey. But
Yes.
then
But
it's
do we actually enjoy the journey?
that's the
Do
thing.
we actually open our eyes and enjoy the journey? I don't think so,
You
most
don't
of the
think so
time.
most of the time?
For example, what are we like when you think about last month's here and you think about exam week, for example?
Mm,
You're like suffering, like we are suffering, you know,
yeah.
like everybody has mental breakdowns, like everybody's crying, everybody's like, oh my god, I wake up in the 7 in the morning and go to bed like midnight, and every day like repeat. And then I don't think that's enjoying the journey. I don't think we're like, because enjoying the journey will be like, okay, I really like that I'm, for example, gaining knowledge right now, or I this is something I think kind of the feeling of being grateful maybe helps. I always feel better when I think about, okay, but is this something that I'm really enjoying? Is this something that I really want to do? And then I feel like it's enjoying the process, because I'm like, okay, but I'm I love learning this. Okay, I'm gaining new knowledge. I love learning about psychology, for example. That's enjoying the journey. But thinking, oh my God, okay, I'm gonna get a good grade. When I get a good grade, I'm gonna get a good master's program, and etc. That's basically delaying emotional response, I think, because then it just escaping into the future because it feels comforting because it's something that didn't happen and it feels like something we can control. It feels like, and I feel like people want something that they can control, and then if you're unhappy with your current situation, you're not like, oh my God, how did I come into this situation? And then people either turn to their past and romanticize their past and think how it was so nice to live at that point in life, which is what you were talking about, feeling happy when we remembered something. And then the second option, I feel like, for the most people, is just thinking, okay, but this is all okay because it's gonna give me some happiness in the future. And what I feel lately is that happiness is not guaranteed, and that happiness never comes, or comes in really really small intervals of time, because then you get into thinking about future again, because there are always problems in the present, but I don't feel like we actually face them. I feel like we just delay basically emotional response. So I think it's kind of escapism as well, having goals.
By living into the future, yeah. It's very tough. It's very tough. But I think this. Do you have any hobbies that you look at them and you can just like enjoy them without thinking about the end process, the end thing?
That's my problem, Anton. That's my really big
I
problem. You got me there.
got you there.
um, okay. Okay.
Okay.
I don't feel like I have hobbies since I came here.
Hmm.
I don't feel like um I feel like myself, and I feel like I'm becoming a different version of myself. But for example, I was the thing is that I always had a really bunch of stuff that I had to do after school. For example, I would go to school, stay there till 3 p.m., then have music class one, had music class two, came back home, ate lunch, and then went for a training or English lesson, and then on weekends it would be French lesson, and like then a choir, etc. And then it was a constant schedule of obligations when I was younger. And then, but I was a kid, so I was happy, I think, by myself. It was just, I didn't think about it. I didn't have my frontal lobe
How
developed at
old were
all.
you? Like,
And
what time? What
I
age you
think
think?
but it was like, it was around 10 years old, 12 years old, all until high school. At high school, around like 15, 16, I gained consciousness. So it's, I think, until 15 years
Okay.
old. And then it was completely like obligations. And then I came to high school, and I discovered it was the first time that I chose to do humanities. I was always kind of pressured to do natural sciences, and I never really enjoyed it. And then I came to high school, and I enjoyed humanities, like social sciences. It was so nice. And then I started doing debate, which was my hobby. And then I was reading a lot. And then because of debate, I got into a community with, for example, like poetry. And then I started writing poetry. And then I was reading, and my English improved, so I could read books in English. And it was always like I had little like stages that I can go that were already kind of in front of me. All I had to was to step up, you know? And then um, I discovered psychology, which was something I truly enjoyed, and I would read like papers in my free time, etc. And I also did capoeira back home. And then I came here. It was like, oh my god, you have so much to learn in psychology. And I love psychology, so I want to learn all of this. And I would go to the library and stay there till 8 p.m., 9 p.m. And I would be so happy. I would bike back home, and that was all I needed. That was all I needed, because I was like, oh my god, I'm actually learning something that I'm interested in. Oh my god, this is my life. There's no way that this is my life. And I met so many cool people. And then it became a routine, as it always does. And it was something like, okay, I'm learning psychology, but it's not something that I enjoy. Okay, it's something that is not okay to me. It's totally fine, but it's something that kind of brings me suffering as well because of the exams. Uh, but it was still time consuming. And what is the thing is that I really, really care a lot about people in my life. So my hobby, my main hobby, became talking to people back home. So I would just talk to my family because it's kind of big. I would talk to my boyfriend, I would talk to my best friends, and then it consumes a lot of time because my one phone call is a minimum an hour. So I would do it in the morning, I would do it in the afternoon, I was doing it while biking, and then besides that, all I could do was listening to music. And I missed reading so much. That was my favorite hobby all the time. But uh, I couldn't read because my eyes were hurting from reading psychology. Then I couldn't write because I was I never wrote this kind of depressed, but I never wrote about something that I'm happy about. I was always writing about something that is kind of hurting me or something that I'm kind of unhappy about. And then I couldn't write. So I was just at one point, I think it was November, I was standing in my room and I was like, okay, so what do I like to do? What do I do in my free time? And I realized that I don't have free time actually. I mean, I have it, but I use it as the as an it's obligation to me. I have stuff that I have to do during this free time. And then I started drawing, for example, again, which I did when I was really young, really young, and then I enjoyed it because it wasn't that uh, it didn't need to use that much cognitive capacity. And then uh, I don't know, it's something that is okay, but I rarely pick a notebook and then just start drawing by myself. It's really a rare thing to do. And then
Why is that though?
I don't know what.
Why is it rare for you to do? It just requires like effort
Because
or.
you need to have an inspiration for it too. And then it's so much easier to just prioritize getting 1 more hour of sleep than sitting and, for example, drawing. And then I would draw when I make a break during the uni, when I study, and then I have like, okay, 20 minutes with music, and then I would draw something. But then it was just to, it was just, it was kind of, it was it wasn't really enjoying it. It was because everything before that was really, really hard. So then this would be okay. It would be like a flat line. It
It's
wasn't
kind of more like
happiness.
a
It was
a passive break, an active rest instead of actually pursuing a hobby.
yes, yes, that is true. And then I realized that I don't have hobbies because I didn't do capoeira, which I really enjoyed here, because I was like, I don't have enough time. I cannot do this. And then I realized that I don't have hobbies. I genuinely don't have hobbies, which is so sad because I feel like I I became an adult, but an adult that I was always scared of becoming. You know, when those people go to their job, wake up in the morning, make breakfast, go to their job from 9 to 5, and then just go get some beer, whatever, talk to their friends, and then go home, sleep, clean, whatever. And I love socialization. Like, I love talking to my friends. That's the thing. And I don't want to sacrifice it. But it also drains me out because I have to talk all the time and I have to expect, they expect me to say all the stuff that I did, for example, that day multiple times because I have to talk to other people. And then it's kind of just hard for me. And I don't know. And then I realized that I don't have hobbies. So this question is really tough for me. So I don't have an answer to it.
Mhm.
But I was thinking of pursuing some, but I think it just takes time to now make my schedule different again because I finally kind of made it work so that I can study and I can do this and I can and then now I have to free some time for something else as well. So it's yeah, I don't have any hobbies right now,
Mhm.
which is a problem. Yeah.
It's how much is it a problem though also? Because okay, you might not have those hobbies. Not saying like not taking away from your life now. If you grab like someone else. If you grab another person who's kind of like imagine this person in the same situation as you, but we see it from the fisherman perspective. Like, that's what they do, and that's what they would do. Then it's okay, right? What do you think? Like, if that's something that brings you actually joy, because do you think living that life you're living right now, that you mostly study, is bringing you that joy, that you feel fulfilled by that life, or you feel more fulfilled, or fulfilled, you feel happy by the idea of you pursuing that life, like you said?
You know what I think?
Mm,
You know what I think? Okay, imagine a fisherman thing, okay?
okay.
And then uh fisherman has only so fisherman, its only job basically is to catch a fish.
Hmm.
Okay. But imagine now everything is okay because he catches a fish every day.
Hmm.
But imagine he doesn't catch a fish one day. And then he comes home and his family is starving. Okay. They cannot then enjoy it. But one day is okay.
Hmm.
And then he catches it tomorrow and thinks, okay, everything is fine, everything is fine. But then after that, it happens again that he doesn't catch it. It happens again. And then, like, he cannot provide, for example, for his family. It doesn't have to be about providing. He is not, he starts doubting, does this bring happiness to me? Because, oh, I don't enjoy not knowing if I'm gonna catch a fish or not. I don't enjoy uh not catching it. I don't enjoy not eating, I don't enjoy putting some time and effort into something and then not giving anything in return, you know and then I guess that he cannot spend his quality time with his family, and he's not happy when he spends it because he maybe like doubts something about himself. And I feel the same way about studying, because studying is okay when you study and then you get a great score. Okay, then it's okay, I studied, I was learning, and I got my result that I wanted.
Hmm.
But sometimes it's not like that. Sometimes you study a lot and then some questions about random chapter in the book that you didn't read, or you feel really sick a week before, or you feel homesick, or you're missing someone, and then you cannot study but you still spend time in the library. And then your only job and your only thing in life didn't give you happiness back, didn't give you a result that you wanted, and then you're not happy you know and I feel like that's the biggest problem. And then if you have, for example, multiple, you have companies, if we go the American way, okay, and then you have many boats, and then one boat doesn't catch a fish, then it's fine, you have other boats. And then I feel like if I study and then have some hobbies on the side, that is not the only thing that I invested my time in. That is not the only thing that I expect to give me happiness. Because I enjoy talking to other people, but it's not long term. It's very short term happiness. It's okay, I'm talking to you right now, I'm happy right now, but when we finish this call, I'm gonna be like, okay, that's it. And then when you have hobbies, for example, when I train capoeira and then I improve in that every single day that I train it, it's also another source of happiness. It's also another source to be proud of yourself. It's another source of just meaning in life. And then when you don't do the exam well, you don't get that meaning of life. You're like, okay, but what is the point of doing all of this? And then uh, I feel like fisherman wants to catch a fish as long as he does it like every day, or as long as he gets something in return. But I feel like hobbies are important when it's not that something is not that stable. And I feel like you need multiple stuff in your life to really feel fulfilled, because I cannot be fulfilled just as a researcher, because
Hmm.
I'm not a researcher, I'm a person.
Your
And
person.
then one part of my universe and one part of my heart, okay, it's research, but then I have multiple other stuff that I enjoy doing it. And then even though if I don't get my paper published, I do something that I really, and I'm like, okay, I didn't waste my time. I didn't. This wasn't the only thing that. And then I feel like every fall is less of a fall, and because getting a good result is really big of a jump, but then the fall is really big. And then I
Hmm.
feel like it's more of like, okay, you get you. It's like more of a nice flow if you have multiple stuff, and I feel like we're as people are not that simple to have one thing that fulfills us, especially as students that don't have enough money to do a bunch of cool stuff that we would like every single day. We don't have. Okay, you have to cook for yourself, you have to clean, you're alone at the end of the day. You're alone in your apartment. And then I feel like we need our stuff to gain happiness from. So yeah, that's my perspective.
Um, do you believe in purpose? Like that we all have a purpose in life, a purpose to fulfill or something?
What do you mean by that? Can you
Because
elaborate more?
you can say that each of us has a purpose in life to achieve something, or to achieve something bigger, or you can say, oh, my purpose, your purpose in life is to become a great researcher. Your purpose in life is to become a mom. I don't know. Do you think we
I
have a
feel like my
purpose?
purpose in life is just to be happy. I don't i don't feel like there is one particular thing that I'm ever going to achieve. If I learned something through these 4 months, there is no particular thing that I'm gonna achieve and then sit down and be like, okay, now I'm now I'm fulfilled. Now everything is okay and it will be okay for the rest of my life. I don't think that it will ever be like that. So I don't think we have a single purpose in life. I think we're all searching for a meaning of life, but I don't think it's in one particular thing. And I don't think we're destined to do one particular thing and we have to, okay, it's okay to want to do something, but I don't think it's one particular thing. But yeah, and then if you say purpose, I feel like it's, if you don't do that, you failed life, you know? And I don't want to look at life that way because I don't think it's really that simple. So I don't feel like we have one purpose.
You feel life is way more flexible, that we're not supposed to, we're not um destined to do one thing. Like humans are very, they change a lot, you mean? And now,
Yes,
because
I
because
I
mm,
yeah,
because
yeah. Continue,
you
continue.
have those people that they just give their lives to their works. Like you can say some artists, for example, there are artists that just give their whole life to their works. Like I guess musicians, especially if you look at musicians, they go on tours, world tours, whatever, and then spend I don't know how long there, away from their family, away from friends, just touring the whole world, and they're technically giving their lives for that. They think they have many hobbies that they can do and whatever. Obviously, they might have their free times, but they're giving their lives for that. And what do you think? Do you think that's a healthy way to live life, or that's a more extreme case? Because you think musicians, because if you look at musicians also, they, most artists that give their lives to their, I might be kind of biased, I don't know, but they, many artists commit suicide. That's the truth. You have the four
Though for artists, I think it's kind of different because it's fame as well. I don't
it
know.
can be, but is it because of fame only? Because if you consider fame, more athletes would commit suicide also.
No, but I don't think there are that many people. mm, Maybe for football. I don't know. Actually, I'm not a sports person, so I cannot talk about it. But I don't feel like people who are sports people, they have that much pressure as some singers. I feel like
There's a lot of
I
pressure
feel
in
like
sports, in the sports world. A lot. If you, well, it also
yeah,
depends.
there's pressure for their performance, I
Uh huh.
think, but not them as a person. I feel like when I think about people that couldn't handle fame, they weren't like, they couldn't live normally, like they have to be around like security all the time, they cannot do anything. I don't know about sport, probably like Messi, I don't know, Ronaldo, I don't know, they cannot do it. I'm not sure, like I was never, but when I think about some singers, I feel like it's it's really about fame, but I'm not sure.
It could be. It could be. But like you look at There are many. There are probably many variables for that. Probably many
Yeah,
variables that
it's
determine that.
probably very tough. But they live in like we do, exam month. I think like they live that way too. Because you record an album, you put out the album, you do the music videos, you go to on the tour, and then again and again and again. And I feel like it's for sure tiring for them. But what I think is that it depends on a person, and then you just have to balance it out, like how much happiness you give, for example, from being on stage as a singer, or I don't know, like doing the tour, because I think you get a lot of love from your fans, for example, and then I think you're generally happy when you're doing it, you know how does that compare to the how much how much what did you have to sacrifice for being there, I think you just have to you know do the comparison by yourself, and then see what you want, because some people dedicate their life to work, but I don't know how they do it. For example, I don't I don't know if that's another cope. Like that's a really tough question, because I think it's really individualistic. Because for example, if I was unhappy with my life when I'm older, I'm gonna for sure give everything to my work. But that's the thing. Like then you just give everything to one thing, and then if it disappoints you, you fall really bad. Um, but I think as an artist, like some artists, then tour, for example, gives you a lot of happiness. Tour gives you a lot of help, because like it it shows you that what you're doing has a meaning.
You think tour
It's
has a lot of happiness?
I think tour has a lot of
Touring
happiness.
is very tough. Just maybe
You don't feel like every concert brings you a lot of happiness?
as an artist, one thing is like the concert itself. When you go to the concert, it might be fun. But let's say you go like to 30 concerts. You're like, like you're in the number 15 and you've traveled every day for I don't know how many hours in planes. And you have all this process of going from tour to tour, and maybe you're not feeling well, you're not feeling like presenting. It's tough. It's probably
It
tough,
is tough.
and that's why many artists die in tours. They're like artists that die in tours because this thing is probably exhausting, and
Oh my god, I never thought about it that way.
yeah,
Because I was like, concerts are the most magical thing. When you see your fans, it must be like, oh wow, this is great. I'm doing something that has meaning.
didn't we think coming to this uni will bring us the joy? After you spend some months, it just becomes normal. I guess after they just see their fans all the time, it just becomes normal. And then if they don't
That
have
is true.
2 million fans, not 2 million, you can have 2 million people, but if you don't have a show, a concert with 30,000 people, that's not good enough because you only had 5,000, you know?
That is true.
Because if they probably go to like a bar, like imagine like Taylor Swift, she goes to a bar to sing and then she sings to like 20 people. Maybe that's, I don't know how she feels, but maybe for her that's like, oh, that's so bad. 20 people only, what's the point of that? When if I go to a bar and I play my guitar for like 20 people, I'll be very happy. But maybe if I do this for
Yeah, but
more
we
time,
always rise bars. Like I don't know. It is a tough question. I never thought about it, because I feel like it's the same as, for example, you finish your project, something that you've been doing for a long time, and then you present it on the conference, for example. And then I feel like it's gonna bring you happiness, because it's like, okay, this is for what I was working this whole time, And then I thought that artists feel the same way, but maybe after some time it stops. I'm not
the,
sure.
wait, the what? You like produce something
The
and then
like
you.
happiness you get after doing a concert or presenting.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
I guess it gets less magical because I remember when I was practicing with my band in school. When I started going to the practice with the band, it was magical. It was like crazy magical because I remember when I got the band, I was no, I was it was like at Christmas, 1 week before, 2 weeks before Christmas, And then I went to the music room and they were playing. And I was like, oh my god, that's so cool. I'm seeing like my friend playing there. I didn't even know he played it in the band. And it's like crazy cool. And then I left, I got home on the same day, and I was thinking about what I was gonna get for Christmas. And then I said like, I'm gonna get a guitar. Like I found that so cool that I said, I'm gonna get a guitar. On the same day or one day after I bought a guitar. I bought an electric guitar. And then I was like, okay, I'm gonna like get good at this. After 1 month, 2 months, I started playing in the band. And then when I started playing the band, I was like, oh my god, going to the practice sessions, so cool. I'm playing all those songs with people. It's like amazing. You fast forward like 1 year, I'm dreading the practice sessions because I have to play Taylor Swift and stuff like that, you know? And even the songs I love, I was playing and I was like, oh my god, I have to practice today and I have this concert that, you know, when back then was very cool, but then after you do many times, it just gets, oh, you
That
know?
is true.
I used to love the
That
gym. I used to love the gym. When I started, I used to be my biggest passion ever. I was in progress all the time. And now I'm like, I kind of dread the gym sometimes. I think about it. I don't think I could stop going because it's so deeply in my identity because that I feel like that's just me. But now it just became something like a chore, you know? It just became something I
yeah,
have
but
to
what
do,
do you
kind of.
think? But what do you think then? It's is the how do you solve that problem? Because I don't know if there like the answer is to try new stuff all the time.
Because then you just end up being the same thing, right?
Yeah, yeah, but I don't know. Then like I don't know. It's so tough because it for sure happens with everything, and then you just when you get to a new milestone, you feel happy again, of course. But then I don't know. Like I don't know what is the point because you cannot change all the stuff in your life all the time, you know? So how do you solve that like do you have to remind yourself? Do you have to like why you started doing it? I don't know how you get like your spark back.
I feel like that's one of the things why existentialism is such a big thing. You know what existentialism is?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the philosophy that life is meaningless, whatever, right? That life inherently has no meaning and
Did you read Stranger? L'étranger?
l'étranger. I watched the movie, which is pretty bad because I had to watch it for school. And but no,
Oh,
I kind of read it. I kind of read it, and yeah, it's
because it's like because of death, does life has meaning or is meaningless because we're gonna die anyways? Does it make like everything we experience meaningless, or does it make more meaningful because we're gonna die? You know,
I think
that's kind of
death gives a lot of meaning to life because we're gonna die. That things matter, you know. And in my opinion, that's where religion kicks in very hard. That's when religion is a big thing because
what do you mean?
if death, if you die and then that's it, okay, you can see that meaning of okay, I'm gonna die one day, and nothing's gonna matter, so I might just do whatever I want. But then, if you have religion, if you believe in something, if you're a Christian, for example, you have the idea that okay, if I'm gonna die, I just gotta live well so I can go to heaven, you know? Then I can live my eternity there in the perfect place and all that. That's why I feel existentialism exists if you don't have a religion. I feel like the chances of you having this mindset of oh my god, life has no meaning because you're just gonna die and that's it. So why should I care?
But do you think that? But do you think that a religion and thinking there is a afterlife is kind of a cope?
It could be used as a
For
cope.
it's
It
for
could be.
sure easier to believe that there is something afterlife. It's for sure easier. But for example, I don't believe that.
Hmm.
I just think that we like okay, we were material. We just go back to material. I don't think that there is anything afterlife. But I still live right now, you know? And then I don't care about after I die. I just want to be happy right now and I just want to be happy with my life. Like, because I don't feel like I can do whatever, because that whatever is gonna have consequences in the future for me. Okay, I'm gonna die at the end, but like I cannot do whatever right now if I'm gonna feel the pain in 2 years of the actions that I did right now. It still has a meaning because I have to live till do that. And then, of course, I want to live the best life for myself. So then it gives me kind of meaning, even though I don't believe in afterlife.
But why? Why do you want to live the best life to yourself?
Because I
If
want to
you're
be
gonna die,
happy when I'm living it.
but you're gonna die
I
in the
want to
end.
be, I don't, no, but then, like, I'm gonna die at the end, okay? But I'm living right now. So why would I want to wake up and be depressed when I can wake up and be happy?
But you're gonna die.
You know, yeah, but right now I'm a human being that's experiencing
I know,
everything.
I know, I know.
Okay,
I'm,
I'm
I'm
gonna
just,
die.
I'm just like making.
Rage baiting me.
No, I'm not rage
No,
baiting,
no,
but
no.
I'm just like showing me that like that
Just kidding.
perspective, Why some people think
Yeah,
that
yeah.
way.
Because yeah, I know, but if I'm gonna die, okay, I'm gonna die. But like, I would be like, okay, whatever. If I know I'm gonna die today, but I don't know that I'm gonna die today. Okay, I expect to die in what, like, next 60, 70 years, hopefully.
Hopefully,
And
or you die tomorrow.
I could die
You
tomorrow.
could die tomorrow.
I could die tomorrow. Yeah, that is true. When I think about it, sometimes when I'm riding a bike, those are when my thoughts.
That's when we see death, actually.
Yeah, because you know, my basket is kind of unpredictable, so I can die at any time. But then it means that, okay, I just want to spend this day. Okay, I just want to be happy right now, you know. And then I feel like death, just in my perspective, then gives, okay, not like you have to be happy now because there's no reason to be happy in 2 years, because like then death is closer to that to you. And then it's like, okay, like you don't have to seek for like happiness in the future, because you never know when you're gonna die. But I don't fear of dying because of that. I just want to make my life while I'm here nice, because I don't want to be sad while I'm here. And then after that, okay, I died. Like I don't I that's my perspective.
And this kind of puts a pressure, right, in ourselves to be happy.
Yeah, kinda does.
Because if you're not happy now, then you feel like, okay, if you have the mindset that life, the inherent meaning of life or just being yourself is to be happy, because that's in
Then
the
it
end,
feels like wasting time if you're not happy.
if you're not having actual fun in the present, then you're just wasting time. And then you can think, you can
That
kind of cope and think, yeah, the future is gonna be better because I'm gonna have that. But then you're just coping, and then you just live in the future.
Yeah, that's what I'm telling you. Living in the future is pure cope. Pure cope. That's crazy though.
No, that's why philosophy exists, because those questions, they have been asked by every single philosopher by since how, like how many years, who knows.
But that's like, for example, for you, believing in afterlife,
Hmm.
okay, doesn't it make your life here kind of more meaningless, because you're like, okay, but I'm gonna live a perfect life, like if I behave okay, like if I follow the rules, I'm gonna have eternity to enjoy,
Mhm.
you know
That would make my life more meaningless because of that.
meaningless, or just you wouldn't care that much about what you're feeling right now, because it's okay as long as you're behaving okay.
um I know what you mean, but I feel like since I started actually pursuing God, I found way more meaning in my life, because you just feel more free. You feel free to do more of the things that you want to do. Not in every religion you can do that. That's why I love Christianity. That's why I really believe in Christianity also, that you basically, for you to be a Christian, you just have to live life normally but be a good person. There are like literally kind of no limitations to being a Christian. That's why I love this.
And believe in Jesus
And believe in
Christ.
Jesus and have faith. But just the fact that the fact of you knowing that God has all sorted out for you, the fact that you know that no matter what happens, you have a guy there, like not a guy, and you have God there that's looking out for you. He's taking care of all the small steps. And that no matter what happens, if you have your faith in Jesus, you're gonna go to heaven, no matter what you do, as long as you try to live a good life, as long as you have faith in Him, that He's the Savior, whatever, He's going to cure you from all the sins you did. This brings you a peace that's not that you cannot understand, Maria. It's so strong. Yeah, the other day, I
But
feel
that,
like 3 days ago, I was feeling very bad. I was feeling very down. I woke up and I had to go to the lecture, whatever, and I was feeling, oh my god, I have to go to the lecture. I really don't want to do that. I really don't want to do that. And then I just sat down and then I started praying and I was like, God, I'm I'm kind of miserable now. And I started thinking about what should I do, And then I just said, I'm gonna leave it out to God. I'm gonna leave it out to Him because in the end, He has it all, Everything is in His hands. He knows what's best for me. So I'm just gonna leave all my worries, all my stress. I'm gonna put all on Him. Maria, at that moment, I felt peace. When I did that, I felt peace.
don't you feel like that's just like that just giving all of the control to something else? Like, isn't that just like peace because you don't feel like you have to do anything in order to have a good life? You don't have to take care of, because that's basically like, okay, I don't have to take care of uh okay, yeah, okay, I don't have to take care of what is worrying me because somebody else will do it. When you're younger, for example, when you're a kid, you're like, okay, but my mom and dad are gonna fix it, and then you're like, okay, but is that the right way to live life if it's not you handles your problems? Because
When,
feeling miserable.
sorry,
No,
okay.
no, but like feeling miserable is something that you should fix, no?
Now,
Like, why did he make you feel miserable?
oh, why did God make me feel miserable? You're asking?
Yes.
No, God didn't make me
Like,
feel miserable. The world, how the world works makes us feel miserable, and how we feel, we have like free will. But what I was gonna say, what are the moments in our life that were probably the happiest for most most of the cases, let's say?
you think like marriage, kids, etc.
No, I think the moment of our lives that we're the happiest is when we're kids. When you're a kid, you don't care about
Oh,
anything.
for sure.
You don't care about anything. You don't have to care about groceries, and you just live fully in the present because you know that no matter what you do, you just want to have fun.
Yeah, but someone else is taking care of you.
Someone else taking care of you. And like you said, do you think so? The meaning of life is actually just being happy, right? Experiencing
Yes.
good things, being happy with the life you're living and the experience. So even though we're not, as a kid, we're not pursuing something big, we're not actually searching for responsibility, we're happy. So if that's the goal, if the goal is being just happy and being satisfied, fulfilled with what you're doing in the present, then why would you not just give your life to God or to whatever religion you want? Why wouldn't you just give your life to God? Because then you're just living in this happy state, even though you can call it as coping. But if it makes you more fulfilled, if it makes you happier, why wouldn't you want to do it? And that's what I think. That's that's my logical and rational point of view about religion, is that if you have this thing that takes you takes stresses away from your life, and that's not interfering in how you treat others. In the also Christianity, we just if you actually pursue it, you're gonna end up being a better person. If you actually try to follow what the Bible is telling you to do, you're just gonna end up being a better person because you forgive others more. You just try to be a better person every day. And also by living stuff to God, by knowing that there are so many things that are not in our control, you reduce your stress and you feel more in peace. That's why I love religion, and that's what I end up turning back to, because faith by itself, like even if nothing exists, just me having this religion and me having this faith in God already makes my life better by itself.
Yeah, I understand it. If you actually can believe, I think that it for sure helps. But I
Mm-hmm.
mean, for sure. But it's just the thing that like if I cannot make myself believe in it, if I don't feel it, then I cannot do anything. But it is like kind of cope. It is kind of leaving someone some I don't know if God is like someone else to figure it out. Uh, but if you believe in it, I think that's okay. But it's kind of just like mm, I don't know how to explain it. But for example, if we think that we think a lot, okay, an average person doesn't think that much. An average person is okay with their life, on a daily basis, and then like I'm sometimes like, okay, it would be easier just to be a person that's okay with their life, that's okay with their, and then I feel that way with the religion sometimes too, because I, for example, will be like, okay, I have to do this in order not to be miserable, in order to, I have to take some steps, and then if you believe that it will get sorted out, then it's just easier, then it kind of remind me of that. But I think if you actually like, you cannot stop yourself from like having average life if you have you cannot like make yourself think more if you don't have a capacity to think more. And that way I think if you actually feel something, if it's subjective experience, I think that it's completely fine. Yeah, I think it's a good thing for sure. um but yeah, if you cannot feel it, I think that it just, yeah, you cannot help yourself. But yeah.
Mhm. It's faith. It's something that you either have to put like a lot of effort into getting into it, or simply just live it sideways. But as as for how I felt after I actually gave my life to Jesus and all, even though I've had my down moments in life, having something that you can always go back for comfort is great. And I can imagine myself if I was in a very bad situation, if I was like a horrible, horrible situation mentally, and I was actually considering suicide, if I was hypothetically, I feel like having this thing to go back and like look at it and feel peace on it could save your life, you know? But yeah, it's tough. It's tough. Faith and religion is something that's very controversial, very difficult to talk about if you don't believe in it. Not difficult to talk about, but it's just it makes sense. I completely understand why you don't believe. But from my logical point of view, how I think logically, having a religion, even if it doesn't have to be like those mainstream religions, even if it's just something, having something you really believe in, especially out for afterlife, it just makes you feel a lot of peace.
Well, yeah, of course, because that's something we're scared of. It's basically like, it's, for example, preparing for exam, and you're so scared of an exam, but then somebody like, you genuinely believe, or like you think somebody told you, like, whatever, Bible, okay, like something that you follow, told you that you're gonna do well in the preparation for the exam, you're gonna be so much calmer, and then I feel that's normal. I feel like then, because we are scared of unknown, I think that's we're scared of dying, whatever. I think that's normal thing for a human being. And then if something kind of gives you a promise that it will be okay, it's so much easier to live your life. But it's just something that you cannot, if you don't believe it. For example, I cannot feel it. I just think that it's it's not, it doesn't make sense. Then uh then yeah, it's just, yeah, of course it's harder because I don't have anything promised after I die, you know. But I don't know, it's tough.
It's tough.
Yeah,
It's
that's my,
it's
that's
I have many questions, like many questions that I simply don't know. Simply don't know. Because what was your conclusion from this conversation? That how do you find happiness?
I'm gonna get back to you after a couple of years. No, I don't think like ever the people ever realize that. But I think more you learn about yourself, really, you learn more about what brings happiness to you. Because, for example, here I've been living in Amsterdam for a couple of months now, and I realized that what I enjoy doing when I'm feeling lowest, you know. And then I feel like there is not a particular formula that everybody should follow for that. But I feel like you should listen to yourself, like when do you feel happiest, and then remember it, and then just try. And then if sometimes it doesn't bring happiness, that's okay. But I f- I don't know if there is something. I think those are all little moments, like when you're enjoying your life, or like what brings me happiness is basically listening to Taylor Swift and making a cup of coffee. That's my okay bare minimum for happiness. Or yesterday, I just woke up, put like masks on my face with our friend Luba, and watched Princess Diaries and had pancakes. And I was the happiest person ever. I think I hadn't been that happy since I got here. And it just uh I think it's okay. And then you just try to get something every day that brings you happiness, because otherwise you're just gonna be miserable. But I don't think that at the end of the day, like when you're old, when you think about living a happy life, I don't think that those are really big things. It's okay, of course, promotion brings you happiness, but I really think because they are so rare that you cannot count on them to be happy. And then if we stop counting on big things, for example, getting into uni, finishing uni, getting into master's degree, if we don't just count on them, but we count on stuff that today brings us happiness, then we stop living in future, and then we live in present, and then we're going to be happy in present and not just delay our happiness to something that is unknown. So that would be my conclusion.
What do you think about when people say that? Because if you think about it, we hear often that we have to make memories. What do you think about making
That is
memories?
such a cool question.
Because making memories, I remember one teacher used to tell me that I had to do more things that were out of my, just different things. Just do more things so I would make more memories. But what does making more memories inside, not inside, is it insight? It's like what does
No,
making
that's not
more
a
what
right
does
word.
making more memories means? So it makes the it's just saying that so in the future you can look back at the things you did.
Instead of meaning, okay, you should do more stuff that you enjoy right now. You know? When you think about memories, that should be stuff that you enjoyed at that moment of time. But it's not like, it's when people say make memories, it basically means what you said, like just something that you will have to look back at in the future. And then we skip present completely, like completely, which is insane. And then,
Mm.
and memories were made in the present. And then instead of thinking, oh my god, I'm so happy right now, for me it happens most of the time that like, oh my god, I'm gonna be so sad when this finishes, like when this ends, instead of thinking, oh my god, I really enjoyed this time right now.
What was the first thing you did? Because you went to a Taylor Swift concert, right?
Yes,
Your last
the
Taylor
best
Swift
day of.
concert. The moment she appeared on stage, what was the first thing you did?
Wait. Sorry, can you repeat?
So when she got on stage and she started singing, what was the first thing you did?
Cried.
You cried. Okay.
I started. Okay, though I filmed it. I filmed it, but I didn't film her. I filmed myself and my two best friends. Um, we were we were there, and I was filming our reactions, but I completely blacked out because I'm crazy. Okay, and then the first thing I did was like I was like, "What?" And I started screaming, and then the tears started running through my face, and I was smiling. It was the weirdest feeling in my life. I don't know when I'm gonna ever experience that feeling ever
Mm-hmm.
again. But I was filming it, and but the thing is that like I was really. I tried to like basically like pinch myself at that moment. I'm like, okay, enjoy this moment, because I know it's gonna be over, because I know, and then all is left is like all that's left are memories, you know. But it was I filmed myself, and we film everything. I photograph everything because I don't want to forget it. That's my. I'm really scared of forgetting. I'm scared of losing neurons. I'm scared of having Alzheimer's disease. I'm really scared of like forgetting. And um yeah, but then why should we be scared of forgetting? But hmm, at the same time,
If the presence is all that matters, why
but
should we be
at the
scared of
same
forgetting?
time, Danton, if you think about it, you are the person that you are because of all the experiences you had in the past. So without memories, you wouldn't be who you are.
Yes.
And then, of course, you don't want to forget because that's something that is part of you, no?
Mm-hmm.
And then I feel like memories are something that's like we look back at it, but that's part of us, you know? That's part of our experience, that's part of our life, and the idea of ourselves that we have, you know? And then, um, I don't know. I don't know. It is the present that matters. It is, but then also I think we can live in the present the way that we are living right now because of everything that happened in the past. So I
Yes.
think they're intertwined.
But do
But
you
at the
think
times of despair, you just go back to memories, I think.
mm-hmm. But do you think people have a more an obsession with memories nowadays?
Yes,
Because you see
for sure.
concerts everywhere. Whenever something big is happening, whenever anything is happening, people instantly pull out their phones and they start recording. That's
Crazy.
instant
It's
reaction.
crazy. You cannot see anything because everybody's like filming.
Uh-huh.
But don't you feel like because photography is not the only way to capture your memories. For example, writing. Okay, I love to write. You love to journal, right?
Yeah, I love to journal. Yeah, I do it every day.
Isn't that being scared of forgetting? Because I feel like every time I write, I live something twice. Because I feel like every time I live something and then I write it down, I feel like I relived it. And then after I read it, I can relive it again, you know?
Mm.
But especially when I'm writing, I think it's like basically like living twice. Um, and then don't you feel like that's like the same thing as like trying to capture every moment in your phone?
I guess it depends a lot on the purpose of as for why you're doing the thing. Because for writing you mean writing poetry for you or just
No, for
writing
example,
like journaling?
journaling. Yeah.
I guess it depends a lot because for me when I journal, I'm usually journaling not more about oh what I did on my day, what was nice. I guess it's just more checking in on myself on how I felt on some circumstances so I can kind of find patterns of what makes me happy, what makes me unhappy, what
Hmm.
worked in the day. And I guess it's more like a reflection rather than capturing the moment, so I don't forget it. It's more like a reflection so I can compare also how I was doing before and all those things. But
I guess it depends then.
I guess it depends on the reason why you're capturing a moment. Like I feel like
But because continue.
yeah, I feel like
I'm sorry.
photography, for example, when obviously there are photographers that capture moments. I feel like that's art. When it's art, then I think it's cool. You know, like art of photography. When you're making a cinematic video of something because of art, then it's cool. But then just the act of recording a concert, always having your, I'm not saying it's bad. I feel like it's cool to have those memories. Like it's cool to record those memories because then, like you said, you can relive things when you watch a video. I took like many pictures of my girlfriend when I went to see her because then I can look at those pictures and like it feels nice, you know. But then when you make it, what many people do, that they like people that record the whole concert, you know, things like that.
Yeah, but sometimes when I journal, like when I got here, I was like, when I'm journaling, I also do pay a lot of attention to memory, to like memories, but like emotional memories. And then I remember I was thinking, I want to write this down. So when I read it back, like after a couple of years, I know how I first felt when I got back, when I got into like to Amsterdam. So that's basically like to my future self, you know? And that's capturing something so I don't forget it. But is it important to remember how I first felt? Like, I think it is. I kind of want to remember that.
It's a reflection also. It's a type of reflection that can help you in a way.
Yeah, but I wasn't writing it because to feel better at that moment. I was writing so that like future me can remember how she felt when she arrived, for example. And then, but I feel like that is also that means staying in the present because
I
if
think that's a healthy capturing, you know.
yeah, because it feels makes me think how I'm feeling right now, and that's okay, I think. But if you record something and you just record it so you later can, watch it whatever, or like I don't know, if you record the video because you know you're gonna miss that, like that concert, I don't feel like you can enjoy that concert properly.
Hmm. I guess
Yes.
all it's like all the intention, all related to the intention. If you have the intention of recording something like journaling, when you journal, your intention is to record the thing, to record your thoughts so you can see in the future. That's the action. But when you go to a concert, you're not in the concert to record the concert.
Yeah, you know what we parallel? Imagine going through your day and then saying, "Oh my God, remember this because I want to write down in my journal." I feel like that would be bad because then you're not thinking about like that moment that you're experiencing. You're thinking like,
Oh,
okay, I have to put it in my journal
yeah,
later.
yeah. That's bad. Then you're that's bad. It's all
Yeah, I
about the
feel like that.
intention. It's all about the intention. And yeah, I
But
feel
yeah, society these days is like obsessed with memories.
kind of like doom. It's like kind of like it's a doom scrolling type thing if you think about it. Recording everything. It because what is doom scrolling? You're just going through. You're just scrolling there because it makes you feel not good, but it just gives you like this dopamine, and you're not being intentional about it. No, I don't think that's a good example. But anyways, it doesn't. You're not being
I feel
intentional
like
about it, and when you're just recording, there's something you really look forward to, and then you go to that thing like a concert or whatever it may be, and then you just record the whole thing. It's That's
but I
not
feel
the
like it's
reason why you
connected to
went to the concert, you know?
yeah, that is true. But I feel like it's connected to social media for sure.
Oh
When you mentioned
yeah,
it
for sure,
earlier.
for sure.
Because when I travel, for example, I would love to take pictures. Like I'm taking pictures all the time.
Mhm.
But would it be bad to forget that I like architecture of one building in Paris? Like would it be bad? Because I will for sure remember how I felt in Paris. Like that's not something that's gonna change. and that is core of me, like, okay, I want to go back to Paris, I want to enjoy the time there,
Mm-hmm.
but then why do we need to take pictures of what we ate that day? Or like when you see people, like when they hang out and then they take pictures all the time.
Yeah.
I don't think you're like, then when you, okay, you're gonna see those pictures, be like, oh, when we were hanging out, but what were you enjoying when you were like, were you happy, like how did you spend that time when you were hanging out? I think that then, like, makes sense,
Were
that,
you,
like,
were you enjoying hanging out because you're like creating all those, taking the pictures, thinking about the future?
yes,
Um.
how we're gonna miss, like, that's basically like taking pictures right now, thinking how we're gonna miss hanging out in the future instead of actually hang out, because I don't think taking pictures is like proper hangout, you know?
Yeah, if you just take
And I
pictures.
realized,
Mm.
what I realized is that when I went back home, I didn't have any photos in my gallery. Like when I came back from home, like those 2 weeks there, I didn't have any photos. Like I had maybe a couple of them, and even with my boyfriend, like I wouldn't take any photos because I was just like, and then I came back here, and I remember I thought, uh, oh, I cannot now look at any pictures. Like we don't have any pictures. Blah blah blah. How will I
Oh,
survive
you're
now?
talking when you went back to Serbia from Amsterdam? Yeah.
Yeah, so I in
Okay.
Amsterdam I take a lot of pictures. I take pictures of sunset, I take pictures of myself, I take pictures of I eat. And what I do is I send all of those pictures to people back home. But I also like keep it for myself, okay? And then I try to document my life. But then when I went back home, I was enjoying my life so much that I didn't have that need to actually like record it. Like it was it was unintentional, but I never thought like one single day, oh my god, I have to take picture of this.
Mm-hmm.
Like I thought about it once and that's it. Like I don't have any pictures with my sisters, with my boyfriend, like I don't have any pictures. And then I just came back here, like to Amsterdam, and then I was like, oh wow, I don't have any pictures. How I'm now gonna think about like that time? And I was like, but you have all your memories, like you have them. You don't have to have them in your phone to be your memories, you know?
Mm.
But I was really thinking about it because usually I'm like, okay, wow, we have to take a picture. This is a nice place, whatever. But then when I was actually enjoying, I was trying to be present in that moment. And then I wasn't looking into my phone. I didn't have it near me. I wasn't replying to messages. I didn't feel a need to capture it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And then, but I don't know when, I don't know how to make it, like, what is the difference between enjoying the concert, because you're enjoying, for example, I enjoy concert, Taylor Swift concert, but I wanted to capture a bunch of stuff, and me, for example, now going home and not capturing any. Maybe it's the social norm that I know that people take a lot of videos when they go to concerts. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
it's something that, I'm not sure. I'm trying to like make a difference between those two, but um I for sure like felt healthier when I was just living in present when I was there. But when I got back to Amsterdam, I was like, how am I gonna live now when I don't have any pictures? So basically I was escaping present again, just living in the past. So I think it's really difficult.
It's so interesting, right?
It's so
It's
interesting.
so interesting. It's complicated. It's very complicated because also when you think about it, I don't know if that's a human predisposition. I guess it's kind of linked to survival, right? Because if you have, if you remember things more, if now that you have an ability, now you have a thing that can make us remember things, that's like peak
Hippocampus.
peak for survival, you know? You have a one thing that can remember locations and places where you can get shelter and all those things, and you go to a concert. I've used the concert example many times, but you're going to a concert and then you get this thing that really makes you feel good. So, oh my god, I have to register this, so I have it, so I remember where to get this again. I guess like it's kind of related to our brain.
That is true. That is true.
But still, why do we feel the need when we look at a beautiful sunset? Why we get this like, oh my god, that's so beautiful. I have to pull out my phone, take a picture, and not just sit and look at the sunset.
But I think we're just scared that we won't remember it. And I think we're scared it's gonna get lost because we experience a lot of stuff on daily basis. Like we today, as like people in society, we experience a lot of stuff. Like when I talk about my day, it takes me an hour for sure. You
Mm.
know, and then I feel like it's gonna get lost in all of those memories. And then this is something that if I want to pull it out, or if I just like go through gallery and find, I'm like, oh my god, that was a nice sunset. I totally forgot about it. You know, because you know what I do. What is this reminding me of? In my gallery, I
Mm.
have so many pictures that like from time to time I go through them, like last couple of them, and then I put in favorites what I think are important, so they don't get lost in all of the pictures that I taken, you know, and
Okay.
and then just they don't get lost there, so I can like go through my favorites and then see like my favorite memories real quick, you know. But I don't know why I'm so like why don't I trust my brain to remember it? Because but I wouldn't remember a random sunset like at random times if I didn't go through my gallery. But I don't think that's normal. I think I should remember when I see another sunset, I would be like, oh, there was this sunset also that reminds me. You know, I think we should just sit and enjoy sunset because it
Hmm.
brings happiness at that moment in time. And
And
then
that's what
when,
matters.
yeah, I think when we take pictures, we're just like, okay, when I go through this, I'm gonna feel happy. So when I feel sad, I can just go through this and feel happy again. It's basically like making a small pill that will help you go through tough times. I feel that
And
way.
it's a very shallow pill, right? Don't you agree? Because when you live, actually, when you live something that makes you feel good, when you like reliving yesterday at Luba's house, and then you're actually like that moment eating pancakes, that was a moment, right? You lived through that thing, and that gives you a sense of kind of lasting fulfillment, right? Even after it happened, you still feel good. But then
Yeah, but I
when
took so many pictures, Anton.
oh, you
I
took
took I took like I took pictures of her dog. I took like we took pictures in her living room.
hmm
Uh and then I went through them today and I was like and it it's like promise that I can feel that feeling again. It's like that feeling is so important for us. It's so precious that I just want to hold it near me and like pull it out anytime. But is it like bad? Is it bad to do that? Because I was still like I can feel the feeling now. Like if I go through pictures, and I think I could feel it the same amount even if I don't go through the pictures. But I'm not sure because I feel like pictures will help me. But they're just in my brain maybe. Like that just maybe something that I'm used to doing. You know,
I guess
not
not that bad. You know,
taking pictures.
it's like we said, if you what matters is us being happy and being feeling good in the present, and then you taking a couple of pictures. It's okay. Like, why were you taking the pictures at that moment? You're just like taking cool pictures, you know. You just at that moment you
But I was
wanted to take a
thinking,
picture.
no. But I was thinking, I don't know. I don't know.
It's not as bad as you going to something you really want to do, because right there at that moment you didn't have like the intention and purpose to be paying attention, to be living there 100%, you know. And when you're in watching a football match, you can just record it all the time, or you just take one or two pictures. That's the thing. Like, how much are you actually using your energy that you could be using to paying attention into the present for recording or for just focusing on memories or thinking about, oh my God, I wish this never ended, you know? How much, and instead of actually living the thing. Because if you're, and okay, you're in your friend's house and then you take some pictures, maybe that's not that bad, you know. You just, and then if it, after it makes you feel good, you know, that's okay. But if you sacrifice a bit of the fulfillment you could get from living something for taking the pictures, for focusing on creating the memory, I think that's bad.
Yeah, I think I have a nice metaphor for this.
What metaphor?
But I don't know if it's like, yeah. So, when you go travel, like you go, for example, to seaside or you go somewhere that you wanted to travel. Okay. And we as people, we we know now that we love memories. Okay. And then every time you go somewhere, you buy, for example, like magnet for your fridge, you know, a souvenir, anything that reminds you, a postcard, anything
Yeah.
that reminds you of the time you spent there. Okay.
Hmm.
I feel like spending all of the like hangout time, taking pictures or going to a concert and then um just filming everything is like being in that city, and then you search for a perfect souvenir. You're like going around and you're like, okay, I think I want this one, I think I want this one, I think, like, you cannot choose which one is your favorite or whatever. You just like want to find the perfect souvenir, because when I take a lot of pictures, I'm like, okay, but later I'm gonna go through them and see which one was the best. And then I feel like that's just you not enjoying the city because you want to have something to remember the city by, you know? And then for example, I was yesterday at Lubas, and then I saw, like, I was like, oh my God, this is such a cute pic of you, like your dog is so cute. And then I take a picture that's like, oh my God, this city is so beautiful. Like, I enjoy spending in this time in this city, and then going through the city, and then you see one postcard that has like the building that you like the most, and you're like, oh my God, I want this postcard to remember this moment, and then you buy the postcard. I think that's okay because we live through a lot of stuff. And then at the end of the day, I think it's okay to have something that reminds us of someone or some place or something. But going through life, trying to capture everything in order not to forget it, in order to be happy in the future when you look back, is wrong. But finding a little souvenirs in life, I think that's okay. So
Completely
yeah,
agree with that. I completely agree with that metaphor. I
yeah. So I
agree.
think
I
that's my
agree.
metaphor.
Memories. It's crazy. I never thought about that. Like
Kiss,
how.
Mary, kill. Short-term memory, long-term memory, or working memory.
What the fuck? Kiss, marry, kill memory models?
Yeah, answer the question.
Oh, I have answered the question. Wait. So it's short term, long term, and
Working.
working is short term.
It's not, basically. Okay,
Uh,
okay, we can do. No, it's not. Working is different. Working is having it now and manipulating it. Short term is basically like sensory memory, so you just receive it, and long term is like you can go back to it. Brain and cognition lecture.
okay. I'll kill. Oof, that's such a hard question.
Yeah, I
That's
know.
such a hard question. Um, that's that's unlivable basically if you kill any of those. I guess
Well,
I
yeah,
would
you can speak
kill.
like thinking process, but if it's like easier for you, then like I don't judge you. I will not judge you anyways, but like if it's easier for you to know why you chose it. Because you have to kill. It's not like some you want to kill, you have to kill someone.
I'll kill working memory. I kill working memory. I marry short-term memory and I kiss long-term memory.
Really.
Yeah. What
I
about you?
would kill working memory for sure. But I'm not sure about kissing and marrying, because I feel like after this whole discussion, marrying long term memory would be bad. Because I'm like, okay, but short term memory is feeling everything that is around us. So we should stay in the present. So,
Short-term memory is what we have. Long-term is there. Short-term memory is us.
but the long-term memory is all of the knowledge that we have.
Yes. But
No,
what is
for sure.
more
I think I
important?
agree with you. I think I agree. After this discussion, before this discussion, I would for sure marry long-term memory.
You know, damn. That's very, very deep discussion. Very deep discussion. We should start like a philosophy podcast.
For sure.
Maria, if you had to give an advice, a life advice for anyone that's watching, what would it be? Like people in the same situation as us, or not the same situation, but people our age that feel lost in life, whatever, that are trying to search for happiness and are trying to just live life the best way possible. What would be the advice? You can take your time.
Questions weren't prepared in advance, so I didn't prepare me. um,
It can be many. It can be like many things. Just say.
okay. I feel like we we talk about all of the problems in the world that are existing all the time, and I feel like when we have a problem with someone, for example, a relationship problem, we're always thinking, what did that wrong? What did that person did wrong? And when they made some mistakes, whatever, and if we should stay in the relationship. But I feel like my one advice is to just look back into your own mind and your own heart, because at the end of the day, maybe they if everybody looks in their own like body, their own mind, um I feel like it will change everything, because if instead of focusing on like external world, then if you think just okay, does this make me happy, is better than, oh, why did they do that wrong? Like, why did they do it? Okay, that's like a question for them to answer. That's not something that we should question, like we should ask. I feel like we should ask, okay, why did that hurt me? What part of me got hurt? What part of me didn't like this? And why why like me as a person want something else? Like, i think I think when we start focusing on what brings us happiness, and if someone our age is searching for purpose in life, or searching for what they want to do in life, I feel like the only right step is to just look, okay, when do I feel happiest? When do I feel like I belong here? It can be a city, it can be a movie, it can be whatever you want. For example, if it's a book, okay, what do I like about this book? It's not, oh my god, who wrote this book? And then I'm gonna read all of the similar books to it. It's like, why do I exactly? Maybe it's not just because it's dystopia. Maybe you relate to some character that gave you that happiness. And I feel like when we just constantly ask ourselves why, and we try to understand it, it's gonna just, coping in tough times is not going to be then externalized and seeking approval from other people, still seeking help from other people. It's going to be like, okay, I can help myself based on everything I know. And it's okay always to ask for help. I think you can always, if it's something that brings you happiness being around people that you love, then it's totally fine. I think it just focusing on ourselves, then everything comes becomes so much more simple, and you feel less overwhelmed, and then just bring everything to layers. And I feel like that's my life advice at this point of time. We're gonna see in the future.
See in the future. Maria, thank you very much. Maria Bajčetić. That was very nice.
Bajčetić.
Very nice conversation. Very,
Welcome.
very nice
Thank you for
conversation.
having me.
No problem, no problem. The first guest I have here. And
Special guest.
this is the beginning of everything. Maria, I want you to have you again here in some time. Very, very nice. Now I
You have my
just
number.
have your Discord account.
Yeah, my Discord. How do I share my Discord account again?
Okay. Wanna tell people about your works, about your book you're releasing, and you know, at the end
What?
of podcast, they always say like, yeah, tell me about where I can find you in social media to see your work.
Oh, yeah, you can follow me on social media. You can follow me on Pinterest. On Pinterest, my name is Isidora because that's my fake
Mhm.
account. So that so I can search on my main one when I don't want to destroy
Oh,
my
at least
account.
do the ad of your paper that you released.
What? Do?
The paper you released recently.
Oh, guys,
You gotta.
my first paper is gonna be released soon in Nature. It's gonna be released in Nature for social sciences, and I'm really looking forward to it. So yes, that's great! Yay!
Let's go. Okay. Thank you very much, and
See you again.
see you again in the next episode. I don't know when.
Bye
Yeah,
bye.
that's it. All right.